The Stranger Knew My Name, mini audiobook. I noticed him before he noticed me, or at least, that's what I'd told myself. He was standing alone at the far end of the train platform, barely blinking, dressed in a heavy coat that didn't match the late spring weather. Nothing about him screamed danger, but something about his stillness made me uneasy. Everyone else was scrolling, talking, sipping coffee. He was just watching. Not the train tracks, not his phone, just the crowd. Just me. I looked away, then back again. He hadn't moved. I checked my phone, pretending to scroll. Looked up once more. He was staring directly at me. Not in that absent-minded, glazed-over kind of way. His gaze was focused, intent, like I'd dropped something he meant to return. But I hadn't. I was sure of it. A chill ran through me. I glanced behind me, just to be sure. Nothing. No one. Just empty space and morning fog. When I looked back at him, he was walking toward me. My first instinct was to turn and walk away. But my train was pulling in and I wasn't about to let a weirdo make me late for work. He stopped about 5 feet from me, not close enough to be threatening, just enough to make it personal. Then he said my name. Emily. Just that. No question mark, no excuse me or I think I know you, just my name, like he'd said it 1,000 times before. I froze. I didn't respond. I couldn't. My brain was scanning through possibilities. Maybe he was a friend of a friend. Maybe he heard someone else say it. Maybe I'd dropped my ID. But no one had spoken to me that morning, and my bag was zipped shut. He didn't say anything else. The train doors opened behind me with a soft whoosh. I stepped back, just slightly, expecting him to follow, but he didn't. He just smiled, a small, almost regretful smile, and turned away. Then he vanished into the crowd. I spent the entire ride trying to convince myself it didn't mean anything, that it was just a coincidence. Maybe he mistook me for someone else. Maybe I misheard. But the way he looked at me, that wasn't confusion. That was recognition. When I got to the office, I tried to shake it off. Coffee, emails, meetings. But around 2 p.m., I opened my phone and typed my name into Google just to see. Nothing weird came up. No posts, no leaks. Nothing that would explain how a stranger on a platform could look at me like we'd grown up together. Still, I couldn't focus. That night, I sat on my couch in silence, scrolling aimlessly. Then my phone lit up. Locked number. I didn't answer. A few seconds later, a voicemail came through. With my heart in my throat, I pressed play. It was quiet at first, just background noise, street sounds, maybe wind. Then, a voice. His voice. I didn't mean to scare you. You don't remember me yet, but you will. Please? Just don't go back to the station tomorrow. Then the message ended. No name, no callback, no explanation. I replayed it 3 times. Then I deleted it. I told myself it was nothing, just a random creep who got lucky. But deep down, I knew. This wasn't random. And he knew more than just my name. I didn't sleep well. Every sound in the apartment felt louder than usual. The hum of the fridge, the ticking of the hallway clock, the occasional creak of old wood shifting in the walls. I wasn't scared exactly, just unsettled. Like the world around me had tilted slightly and no one else had noticed. When I finally dozed off around 3 a.m., I dreamed of a train platform. But this time, I was the one standing still. And he was the one walking away, his coat disappearing into the fog. When I woke up, I wasn't sure if I felt relief or regret. I didn't go to the station. I called in sick, told my manager I'd caught something. She barely asked questions, probably thankful to have fewer faces in the office that day. I stayed home, pacing the apartment like a caged animal. Part of me hated myself for listening to him. The other part knew something was coming. Around noon, I opened my laptop and started searching. I didn't know what I was looking for. Just stranger train platform, man knows name, weird encounters. All I got were Reddit threads and creepypasta stories. None of them helped, but one post made me stop scrolling. It was titled, "The Man Who Knew Too Much About Me." I clicked. The post was 5 years old. The writer, anonymous, described meeting a man at a bookstore who said their name before they introduced themselves. He'd warned them not to go to a certain place the next day. They went anyway. And then they were in an accident. The thread ended abruptly after that. No updates, no follow-up, just silence. I checked the user's profile. Inactive since the post. My hands started to shake. This wasn't the same person, it couldn't be. But what if it was something else? Something bigger? A pattern I couldn't see yet? I closed the laptop, walked to the window. The street outside was empty, save for a single person walking slowly down the sidewalk. A man, heavy coat, same build, same stillness. I stepped back from the glass. A knock came at my door. 2 soft taps. I didn't move. I barely breathed. I waited 5 seconds. Then 10, then a minute. When I finally opened the door, heart pounding, no one was there. But taped to the outside of the doorframe was a photograph of me from the train station yesterday. I stumbled back and slammed the door. Panic wrapped itself around my spine like ice. I paced, grabbed my phone, ready to call the police. But what would I even say? That a man I didn't know said my name, left a photo, and told me not to take a train? They'd think I was paranoid. Maybe I was, but maybe not. Because as I stared at the photo, I realized something chilling. It wasn't just a picture of me at the platform. It was a picture of me standing next to him. And I don't remember that moment. I don't remember being that close. I don't remember anyone taking a photo. I don't remember his hand on my shoulder, the way it was in the picture. And worst of all, I was smiling. I sat down on the floor and stared at the image, zoomed in, looked at the date on the back, checked for edits. It looked real. It felt real. But it made no sense. That's when I remembered something else. His face. It wasn't entirely unfamiliar. Not from the platform, not from the voicemail, but from years ago. A flash. A hallway. A hospital room. Something buried deep. A shadow on the edge of memory. I searched through my photo albums, my social feeds, my saved files. Nothing. But I knew I'd seen him before. The problem wasn't finding proof. The problem was, maybe I wasn't supposed to remember him yet. I didn't leave my apartment the next day. I didn't answer my phone, didn't open the blinds. I just sat on the floor with that photograph in my lap, trying to make sense of a memory that didn't exist, at least not fully. My face in the picture was mine, but the moment wasn't. It was like someone had reached into my life and slipped in a scene I never lived. And the worst part? The more I stared at it, the more real it started to feel, like some part of me did remember. I dreamed of him again that night. Only this time, I wasn't at the train station. I was in a hospital. Pale walls, quiet beeping. A bed that looked too big for the room, and he was sitting beside it, holding my hand. My eyes were closed, but I could feel the grip of his fingers. He whispered something. "Please wake up." I jolted upright in bed, drenched in sweat. I knew that voice. It was his. The same one from the station, from the voicemail. And suddenly it all rushed back, like a broken dam behind my eyes. The car crash. 3 years ago, me in a coma, and him, the man who sat by my side every day for 6 weeks. His name was Thomas. I remembered now, slowly but clearly. He wasn't just some stranger. He was the man I met right before the accident. The one who'd only just entered my life. The one I was starting to fall for. We'd gone out 3 times. Coffee, dinner, a museum date that ended in laughter. I barely knew him, but something about him felt safe. Familiar in a way I couldn't explain. And then the crash happened, and everything stopped. When I woke up in the hospital, they told me I'd been unconscious for almost 2 months. They said my memory might be unreliable, that trauma did strange things to the brain. I didn't remember him, and when I asked who visited, no one mentioned Thomas. Maybe he hadn't come back, maybe he'd disappeared, or maybe he had been there, every day, whispering my name, holding my hand. And then, when I didn't remember him, he'd walk away. Until now. Until the moment he knew I was ready. It all made sense now. The way he looked at me, the sadness in his smile, the hesitation in his voice. He hadn't come to scare me. He came to see if I remembered, to see if the version of me he'd known was still in there somewhere, and when he saw that I didn't, he backed away. I sat with that truth for hours, let it ache, let it settle. Then, I picked up the photograph again. It wasn't a memory I had lost, it was one I hadn't been strong enough to carry. Until now. I found him 2 days later, an old number buried in my phone's deleted contacts. I texted him a single line. I remember the museum, and the coffee, and the way you always held your mug with 2 hands. He replied 10 minutes later, then you remember me. We met at the same train platform, just before sunset. He stood exactly where he had before, coat and all. Only this time, when he saw me, he smiled in a way that reached all the way to his eyes. I didn't say anything. I just walked up to him, stood close enough to hear his breath and whispered, "I'm sorry I forgot." He shook his head. "You didn't forget, you just weren't ready to remember." And that's the thing about memory. It's not always gone. Sometimes it's just waiting for the right face, the right moment, the right name. Some memories return when we're finally ready to carry them. If this story left something with you, subscribe for more like it. Thank you for listening.